Well, hello everyone. I wanted to give everyone a real quick update on Prince Galitzin, just kind of what we got done this year and what we plan to keep on doing. Again, I just wanted to give you this update. So going right into it, last year our goal was to build T-pads on number 1 and 10. We wanted to get at least 1,200 recorded rounds. We wanted to improve our maintenance throughout the year. And then we wanted to get temporary signage, just so people knew, like first timers knew how to get to the next hole. We wanted to establish a practice basket, and we wanted to improve our overall rating from a 4.0 up to a 4.1. And I'll go through each of these, but just kind of looking at the player stats, we definitely reached our goal. So we had nearly 4,500, a little more than 4,500 players this year, which was fantastic. If we look at it throughout the years, you can kind of see where the COVID boom happened, right 2020, right with the orange. And it's estimated that 1 in 5 rounds are recorded on UDisc, and I got that from actually UDisc website. I believe Hartman out of University of Utah had done the research using the Bayesian factor. Roughly, you can see that it's increasing. Now, obviously, the amount of UDisc users significantly increased after COVID, as did the number of players. So, I'm not saying that what we're doing is being reflected, here, but, just in general, you can see that the growth of the sport in the local area, which is fantastic. So a couple of things that we are proud of is our upkeep moved up significantly, went from a 3.4 to a 4.1. Our T areas increased from a 2.9 up to a 4.0. Our signage and our wayfinding deservingly moved up just, small 2 points just with the arrows. And then amenities moved up to 3.8 from 3.5. So we're moving, we're moving in the right direction. We made small goals and we reached those goals, which we're proud of. So again, T areas, so far we've built 25 new T boxes out of 36. So we're getting there. All of this is due to thanks of Windshred Disc Golf and Mr. Gavin Dively. He was so absolutely fundamental and absolutely necessary getting these tee boxes built. I would propose and say, buddy, we need a truck. Let's do this. And he'd say, no, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, it was really because of him that he was able to fund and really help out. And also there's a couple private people that donated, which I cannot thank enough. All of this, special thanks to Davis Michael out of State College. Absolutely fundamental, and he was there every time a truck came. He was there every time he could, while he's maintaining all the courses up there. So just kind of a testament as to how important it is that we work with local, local clubs. And then obviously special thanks to Sophia Sanchez for being there at every single pour, for finishing, doing her job. So she was absolutely clutch with that. So, as a result, we're moving up with that. Our course maintenance moved up significantly. A lot of that special thanks to Joe Alsh and Derek Boring, who were there every single weekend or every other weekend. Brush hogging. They had their chainsaws. They were taking, down trees, pulling them off to the side. They were clearing out trash. They were moving leaves. They were doing everything they possibly can just to kind of, make the course a little bit more accessible and a little bit more playable. And in our signage and wayfaring, again, we didn't really do much with this. We just kind of tried to add little arrows, so people knew how to get to the next tee boxes. But we do have plans for this, which I will talk about very, very shortly. And some things didn't really change. The amenities, so the bathrooms are what the bathrooms are. There's enough bathrooms on the course that are open when the when the park is open. We did try to add a couple new benches, tables. We have a really cheap practice basket. My wife's art group painted a tossed and found that we've been able to upkeep with that. But I'd like to know what you would like to see. What can we do to kind of bring this up, given that we're in a park? So obviously we can't add, a disc golf store or anything like that. But, what is really missing that would be able to push that up? And then our shot variety changed very, very little. So we moved we moved tee boxes, slightly on a couple holes, and it seems like for the most part that's been favorable, which is great. So moving forward, our 2025 goals are really quite simple. We want to establish 3 permanent layouts, which would be the traditional Prince Gallitzin layout that was laid out by Eric and Austin many years ago. I mean, and there's a reason why the layout ratings are so good as they are, is because those two and anyone that built the original course really thought about it, and it was the layout's fantastic. So we wanted to keep that there. So that's a traditional layout that we're going to keep. The new layout, which will be the whites, we made smaller changes on 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, particularly 10 with the longer basket, which is temporary right now. 15, we moved 10 feet to the right on the other side of the tree, and then 18 we moved down closer to the water. And then obviously we're going to have the red layout, which would be the intermediate beginner. So make it just a little bit more accessible for those first timers, so they're not so overwhelmed. But our goals for this is to finish the rest of those tee boxes, which would be everything on 8, 9, 11, 13, 14, 16, and 18. And then I have 12 and 17, and I could probably add 16 to this list as well, is because we're still working with where to put those baskets. I mean, obviously we're going to keep the originals, or not baskets, but the tee boxes. So where do we move the shorts? Where do we move the whites to kind of keep the integrity of the original hole? So some of them we're going to probably keep existing. Some of them we might change just a little bit. So, as we look back, just to kind of reflect on what went well. So, I think number 1, 2, and 10 tee boxes turned out really well. These were done early on Earth Day with Prince Gallitzin volunteers. And then obviously our maintenance throughout the summer was significantly increased. And that was one of those things that we, made a point of making it up every week or every other weekend, just to, chunk away small little things, grab our rakes, grab our saws, grab our, whatever we can to kind of clear some stuff out. Areas for growth. Again, we do have plans. I'd like to get more benches at each hole, somewhere that we can put our bags, somewhere that we can put our butts in between. Same with the tables. I would like a permanent basket on number 3. Obviously that one has been hit by a tree. It's bent. It's upside down. Chains come loose all the time. And then number 10, so far the feedback on number 10 with the long basket's been mostly favorable. So I think we're going to try to make that a permanent basket. So, getting those into the ground. And then the biggest area for the growth is to kind of slow down on the tee boxes. So we kind of got to the point where, Gavin and Winchred and the private donors were able to kind of help us out, that it was more cost effective to get a truck. So we ordered the trucks of concrete to come up and deliver the concrete instead of mixing it by hand, which was fantastic. But we couldn't really keep up with the truck. So we, were really small staff that day, particularly when we were pouring in 95 degree in July, and the concrete was setting up way faster than we wanted it to. So we didn't we couldn't really float it like we wanted to. We couldn't finish it like we wanted to. So a couple of the tee boxes on the back end are pretty rough. I mean, the quality of them is going to be good. We did add a retardant to slow down the curing process. So I'm not worried about the longevity, but it's just a basic aesthetic. So, our plan for these back ones is to slow down, to frame them, to take the time, to dig them deep into the ground so they're flush, and really just kind of take time. I mean, so we were relatively short-staffed, trying to get this work done. And, we had the money there, so it was like, let's do it. And, all of a sudden it was like, well, let's build 7. And then it was like, well, since the truck is coming, we might as well build 8. Well, we might as well get 9. Let's do them all. So we just kind of, and I take full blame for that, because it was, it was more or less cost just versus quality. And I wanted to get it done, and, I was excited to get it done. So, my goal is to slow down. So those are the updates that I have. As always, reach out to Gavin at Winchred, reach out to me at Yinzers, reach out to anyone, post something on the Blair County on Prince Gallitzin. Give us your feedback. I'd love to know what we're doing well. I'd love to know what we're not doing well. So the future plans is, I plan to meet with admin soon to look at tee design. There's a balancing act with the tee design between keeping the aesthetic of a state park in Prince Gallitzin and adding the new signs that have everything else. So, there's a fine line that we're balancing between that. So, we do plan to meet with them this winter. We plan to get the posts dug in the ground after the thaw. And even if we kind of build temporary signs until we can get more permanent signs, we're gonna do whatever we possibly can. But hopefully by a year from today, at least by the new year, we are going to be able to reach all of these goals with 3 permanent layouts. And that permanent layout would be signage, concrete tee pads, and better baskets, at least on some of the ones that are down, and then baskets coming down or down the road. But for now, we're going to just try to get the layout where it is. So, all right, that's all I have. Again, reach out if you need anything. Thanks.